Welcome to the MasterYourMix podcast, helping engineers, producers, and artists create professional recordings and mixes even from home. I'm your host, Mike and Davina. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome to the MasterYourMix podcast. My name is Mike and Davina, and today's episode's a shorter one, but it's something that I think is really important, and I think that it's something that we all need to think about moving forward when we're trying to get clients to come into our studio. And that has to do with the things that you say to a client. So let me ask you this. When someone approaches you and says, "Hey, how's it going?" What is your go-to response? Think about that for a second. Do you tell people, "Things have been slow. I actually don't have very much booked in the calendar right now. I'm trying to find some bands to work with"? Or do you just instinctively say, "I'm good. Things are good. Like the studio's going really well. I'm really busy with a lot of projects, pretty swamped with that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just got a lot of stuff on the go. It's going well." If that is your answer, which I think it is for most people listening to this, are you really busy? Like, do you really not have time in your schedule to accommodate more clients? Because that could be the vibe that you're actually putting off to prospective clients. And this is something that I think a lot of people do instinctively. I can even tell you, like, I do this myself as well. Someone says, "Hey, how you been? What's new?" I always say, "Good," like at the studio, a lot of projects on the go. But by saying that, I don't even know what this person's going to ask me. They might be about to ask me whether or not I have studio time available and if they can come and record with me. But if I'm telling them that I'm busy, they might think that I don't have time for them all of a sudden. I could actually be creating a barrier to entry for my clients. And they might not want to bug me. They might be like, "Well, Mike's busy, so, he probably doesn't have time for us. Let's go to the guy down the street who has some free time." Or the other thing is that you could put a sour taste in someone's mouth when you say, "Oh man, I'm so busy, like been working on so many things." And then they're like, "Cool, like, well, do you have any time for us to come to the studio?" And then you're like, "Yeah, absolutely. I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of this week free. Come on in whenever you want to come in. The week after, I've got the next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday." Like, if all of a sudden you're free all the time, then you just came across as a liar to your customers. And, like, that doesn't really sit right with a lot of people either. So I want you to quickly think about this and just think about what you're saying to your clients. What is your go-to response? Because you could actually be shooting yourself in the foot by just instinctively saying what you're saying. Like, what's the advantage of saying you're busy when you're not? There's really none. I think some people sometimes think that by saying you're busy, it gives this idea that, like, you're a bigger deal than you are because people are coming to you and you're so busy and, like, you're in demand. But the reality is, if you're not actually in demand, then you're not growing your client base by telling people you're busy. Like, it really doesn't actually benefit you. So I just wanted to leave this with you because this was something that I had just read on a forum online, and I thought that it was something that's so important and so relevant because so many people do this. And it's not just in the studio. Like, this applies to everyday life. I could tell you, I have so many conversations with people where they're like, "Hey, how you been?" And I'm always like, "Yeah, I'm great. Like, just things are going really well." And maybe they're not. Maybe I actually am going through a tougher time, and maybe I actually need some help. And it would actually be better for me to just say, "I'm going through a tough time right now, and, this and this is happening, and blah, blah, blah." Because maybe the person that I'm talking to can then offer to help. Maybe they can do something about it and make the situation better, rather than me just sulking to myself like, "Oh, something's not right," or "I'm not busy enough," blah, blah, blah. It's like, you have the ability to say something right then and there that can provoke a conversation, that can create change, and that can help you. So anyway, this is just an episode where I'm kind of just ranting about this because, like I said, I saw a post online about something similar to this, and a lot of the people who were responding to it were saying that they also say a lot of these negative things just instinctively. They're not even thinking about it. Just habitually, they just say that things are good, they're really busy, and they're actually creating barriers to entry without even thinking about it. So guys, I'd love to encourage you. Next time someone asks how you're doing, be honest with them and see where that conversation leads. Like, if a band comes up to you and says, "Hey man, how you been? How's the studio going?" Be honest with them. Like, tell them, things are going all right, but I'm not as busy as I'd like to be. Like, what's new with you guys? Are you guys working on any new songs? Like, I've actually got some availability coming up in my studio soon, and I'd love to work with you guys. I think we'd be a great fit. And if you actually are busy, well, then be honest, but create an opportunity out of the conversation. So if a band asks you how things are going at your studio, tell them that you've got a few different projects on the go, but that you're going to be wrapping them up in a month. And see where that goes, because maybe that will actually work with the band. Maybe it creates an opportunity so the band says, okay, well, he's actually busy right now, but we can wait a month. Like, we now know the time frame. We can work with that. If you say stuff like that, it shifts the conversation. It's no longer a barrier. It's no longer a negative thing. Instead, it's creating opportunities. And so I want you to think about that, because you could be turning down a lot more work than you think just by the instinctive things that you say that seem innocent on the surface, but that actually have an underlying message. So guys, that's it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It's a little bit of a departure from my normal style of show, but this is something that I think is very relevant to a lot of people who are trying to grow their businesses. And my hope is that by just making that little shift in mindset and trying to turn something that sounds negative on the surface into a positive, this will actually make a big impact in your life and in your career. And you'll just feel more authentic about it. You can be yourself and not be fearful that, you're getting judged all the time. Like, don't think about that. Just be honest with yourself, be honest with the people who you're talking to, and opportunities will come your way as a result. So that's it for now. If this is your first time listening to the MasterYourMix podcast, make sure to go back and check out all the previous episodes. There's tons of really good stuff, tons of really good interviews, and lots of good tips and tutorials and all sorts of great stuff that'll help you. And also make sure to check out the website, MasterYourMix.com. And on my website right now, I'm currently giving away a free copy of my Ultimate Mixing Blueprint, which is a guide to using EQ and compression across a variety of instruments in your mixes. And it shows you what to boost and what to cut. Definitely make sure to check that out. And if you're a regular listener of this podcast, I would love it if you could leave a rating and a review on iTunes. This definitely helps us to get exposed to more people, helps us spread the word, helps to make more music out there, helps people feel more confident in their skills. So I would really love it if you could just leave a quick review on iTunes and just say what you think about the show, what you like about it, what you found helpful, and what other people should expect from listening to it. So once again, if you can leave your rating and review on iTunes, that would be huge. That's it for now, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Can't wait to talk to you in the next one. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Master Your Mix podcast. To have your questions answered, submit your questions to questions@masteryourmix.com. Please go to iTunes and subscribe and leave a review. And for more information on how you can improve your mixes, visit MasterYourMix.com.